America did not begin for me with freedom or promise. It began with a shovel, cold iron rails, and a horizon that kept moving farther away the more I walked toward it. I was young when I first touched the railroad steel, young enough to believe that if I worked hard enough, the country would eventually notice me. The men who hired us spoke of progress, of a nation stretching from ocean to ocean, of iron pots binding the future together. They never spoke of names. We were not names. We were hands, backs, breath. We were motion. And motion does not ask who pushes it forward. Each morning before the sun rose, I stood among dozens of others like me, boots cracked, hands already bleeding from yesterday's labor. The air smelled of dust and sweat and something metallic that never left our lungs. We lifted rails heavier than any promise ever made to us. We drove spikes until the ringing in our ears drowned out thought itself. The land resisted us at every step, mountains that tore skin from palms, deserts that drank our water before it touched our lips, winters that stiffened joints until men moved like broken machines. And still the line moved forward, always forward. They told us we were building America, but America was never built facing us. It was built looking past us. When the trains finally rolled, they did not slow to see the men who had laid every inch beneath their wheels. Passengers looked out at the passing land, never down at the bones beneath the track. They saw distance disappear, never the lives compressed into it. I watched those first locomotives thunder by and felt something hollow open in my chest. Not pride, not anger, something quieter, something like erasure. We slept where we fell, sometimes in camps that dissolved overnight, sometimes under the open sky with only stars to witness our exhaustion. Men vanished often. Some were injured and left behind. Some grew sick and were carried away by fever. Some simply did not wake. There were no ceremonies, no markers. The railroad did not pause. Steel does not mourn. We buried them quickly or not at all, because stopping meant falling behind, and falling behind meant being replaced. There was always another man willing to take the place of a disappeared one. Hunger makes volunteers easily. Payment was always promised tomorrow. Tomorrow, when the section was finished. Tomorrow, when the company accountant arrived. Tomorrow, when paperwork caught up to sweat. Tomorrow became a word we no longer believed in. But we kept working anyway because stopping meant starvation. Some men tried to argue. Some tried to leave. Most returned within days, thinner, quieter, because the world beyond the rails was no kinder. The railroad at least offered the illusion of purpose. The illusion that suffering was going somewhere. I learned the language of pain well. The way shoulders burned long after sunset. The way hands lost feeling and then burned worse when sensation returned. The way exhaustion blurred faces until every man looked like every other man, including me. I forgot what I looked like before the work. I forgot how my voice sounded when it wasn't tired. I forgot the feeling of being more than necessary labor. The railroad does not ask who you are. It asks only how much you can give before you break. When winter came, it did not slow us. Snow-filled boots froze sweat into armor, split skin until blood darkened white ground. We worked anyway. The supervisor said delays cost money. I wondered whose money, because none of it was ours. At night, I dreamed of warmth I could not remember, of food that did not come from a tin, of rest that did not feel like collapse. I dreamed of my name being spoken by someone who meant it. Morning always arrived too soon. The railroad grew famous. Newspapers praised its speed, its ambition, its triumph over nature. They printed photographs of executives smiling beside finished tracks. They wrote speeches about destiny and unity. Not once did I see a photograph of the men beneath those rails. Not once did I hear our voices echoed back to us. We were present everywhere and visible nowhere. It is a strange thing to give your life to something that refuses to acknowledge you exist. One day, the section ended. The work moved on. We were told to wait. Payment would come. Weeks passed, then months. Some men left. Some stayed, clinging to the idea that time itself owed them something. I stayed longer than most. Perhaps I believed too much, or perhaps I had nowhere else to go. When I finally asked again, the answer was silence. The office was closed. The names on the ledger did not include mine. It was as if I had never been there at all. I walked the tracks one last time. I ran my hand along the cold steel I had helped place. Feeling nothing returned to me. Trains thundered past, carrying people toward futures built on a foundation that did not include me. I realized then that America had moved forward, and I had remained exactly where the work left me, behind, unnamed, unpaid, unseen. Progress had no rearview mirror. Years passed. My body aged faster than time itself. The railroad remained. Towns rose along it. Fortunes were made moving goods over the path I helped carve. Sometimes I heard people speak of the railroad with pride, with wonder. I never interrupted them. I learned that silence was the final wage paid to men like me. Silence, and the slow fading of memory. If you stand on those tracks today, you will not see me. You will not see the men who stood beside me. You will see steel and wood and gravel, clean and ordered, pretending they appeared by will alone. But beneath your feet are stories pressed flat by history's weight. Beneath your feet is labor that was never compensated, lives that were never recorded, men who built a nation and were never invited into it. I was one of them. I built the railroad. I was never paid, and yet every mile still carries me forward, whether America remembers me or not.